Good evening, everybody. We made it through another week. It's Friday night. We're talking about movies of 1998, which was a terrible year. And I
Terrible.
have my awesome co-host, Kevin Apollo, here. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. The quote Charles Barkley, 98 was terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
yeah. I was going through the list, and it's like I first reviewed a list of the 50 top hits of 98, and then I said, let's look at another 30, and some of them were duplicated. And it's like, this is all you got? This is garbage. We each managed to pick some. I think there are some interesting choices tonight. It's probably not going to be as satisfying as 97. 97 was a good year. 98 is interesting.
It was a good year for movie singles. So I'm sure if we could ever pretend to want to talk about music on YouTube without angering the algorithm gods, be a good episode.
Yep. What have you been up? What have you been up to the last few days? Tell me something interesting.
Let's see. I spent 48 hours prepping for a colonoscopy. That was delightful. Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, enlighten the audience what prepping for a colonoscopy means.
Oh, sure. You take a bunch of... Well, first, it's a liquid diet, so there's no actual food. And then you spend the entire rest of the day popping laxatives and drinking Miralax, and then emptying out your intestinal tract until there's nothing left to give.
Begging for mercy from a god that hates you.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. What did I do? Why have you forsaken me?
Yeah, it's actually quite amazing just how much liquid your body contains within itself. You become very well acquainted with it in that kind of a situation. I'm sorry for you, but I'm glad it's behind you now, if you'll pardon the pun.
Oh yeah. It all came out in the end, so yeah.
Anyway, the next thing I was going to ask is, where's the Italian?
Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit late. Pro and I were playing Mario Kart on that game place in M4 Empire Gaming. So, but I have to say, guys, I saw something today that may have changed my life. I don't typically go for very artsy fare, but there was a 5.5-hour live stream today that was mostly just a blue screen with a pause symbol on it. And you could really feel just the artistic nature that the creator was going for. Right, Kev?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know how it happened.
I don't know how you did it.
What happened?
Kevin streamed for 5.5 hours today of a blank blue screen.
Hell if I know what happened.
It was like the episode of Rocko's Modern Life where they do the Wacky Deli episode where it's just a still shot of a jar of mayonnaise for an hour. And then everyone's like, oh, the brilliance of it. We have to put this over as its high performance art.
All right. Well, were you planning a stream? Do you have any idea how it...
No, I downloaded the Voyager game, and then I removed a bunch of apps off of my PlayStation so I had room. And then I went on with my life.
I like the idea that you had a bunch of people watching this stream thinking it was some kind of an AGR game where they're trying to crack the code. What is he trying to tell us?
And then I hopped on Twitter.
Taking it frame by frame.
and then I randomly hopped on Twitter and had and someone said, check your DMs. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I did it, and I don't know how to fix it. But thank you, Butter Biscuit.
Honestly, what you should have done is just not acknowledged it at all and put up a message saying, did you spot the secret picture?
Did you crack the code? Because I'm not helping. Oh my gosh, that just amazing.
Speaking of codes and code breakers.
Hi.
Hey.
I actually have done a little bit of code breaking.
This doesn't surprise me. You seem like the kind of guy who would enjoy a good cipher.
Yeah, I did those as puzzles for a little while. They're fun.
Do you have one in particular that is your favorite?
No, not really.
Can I may have told this story before. I don't remember if I did or not.
Hey, it's your show. Tell whatever story you'd like.
Do you know how I got interested in things like things like Indiana Jones, historical treasures, lost cities, all that kind of stuff.
I would say you saw a movie.
It wasn't a movie.
Well, I was thinking anytime somebody starts a story with, do you know how the answer is, my father was a fiend, or something like that.
I've actually tried to figure out where this was from. I found a vague reference to it once while really searching hard on the internet, but it didn't actually specify what it was. It was a cereal box. You remember back in the day when you got toys in the cereal box? This is for all us old farts out there. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
There was one that I remember that was Egyptian themed, and it had a puzzle on the back where you were supposed to locate the hidden treasure that was in this Egyptian tomb. And the toy that was in the cereal box was a map. And you had to fold it a certain way to reveal a hidden path that showed you where to place it up against the cereal box to find the hidden treasure. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And it made me, I wish I still had the stupid map, because I think that's what got me interested in all that kind of stuff. But
I had a teacher who showed us the cylinder trick where, like the Greeks and Romans would have different size cylinders and they would send messages that were coded
wrapping the paper around it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was one of the first things that got me intrigued by that kind of thing.
I love those kinds of things. I love how all of that stuff. And it just got me interested in ancient history, supposed curses, just all of that stuff. Speaking of curses.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. She calls it witch powers.
I do call it witch powers. What's up, everybody? Hi.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Chilling like a villain, all that good stuff. I'm not particularly exciting. I don't have, like cipher stories or anything like that, but doing all right.
Well, okay. All right. I guess that's all we get from Trish tonight. I do have some super chats that we got to get to. Number one is from Wild and Crazy Bear for $2.95. 1998 was my childhood, 7 and 8. And we have John Pike, who became a YouTube member. Welcome to the membership. Glad to have you here. And we have Solstice granting 20 WDW Pro memberships right at the outset of the show. That is awesome, sir. If you guys receive one of those gifted memberships, be sure to thank Solstice for it. Always glad to expand the membership here. Hope you enjoy all of the perks. Marvin, there were a lot of good stories over the last couple of days. So I think we got some fun news stuff to talk about. Well, I mean, sometimes...
you actually did good work the last few days. I'm shocked.
I'm not saying you did good work. I'm saying there's actually fun stuff to talk about.
There is
sometimes,
fun stuff to talk about, yeah.
Sometimes there's not. Trish is going to be bored out of her mind. But, I figured that we did Scream last night, so...
Trish had her glory last night, so, she's due for some boredom.
Well, I think that there's some fun stuff here. And one that actually answers something that I think has been kind of a lingering mystery, at least for me, and I'm interested to see what Kevin's got to say. So our first story for the night is Tamira Morrison suggests Lucasfilm put Boba Fett on the shelf to punish him after fan campaign comments.
Just absolutely insane. And I believe it 100%.
I'm not sure I do, but we'll get into it. The future of Boba Fett in the modern Star Wars television universe may be far more uncertain than fans realized, and according to actor Tamira Morrison, the reason might be Lucasfilm itself. In a recent interview with Inverse, Morrison suggested that his iconic bounty hunter has effectively been sidelined by the studio after he encouraged fans to push for more appearances. While discussing the character's future, Morrison revealed that Lucasfilm contacted him following comments he made at the convention encouraging fans to lobby the company. "I was only joking. I'm at a convention and I say stupid things," Morrison explained. However, Morrison says the reaction from Lucasfilm was far from amused. "Then I've got Lucasfilm ringing me. Look, you've been put on the shelf, Boba Fett. We might open up the jar later." For fans who have wondered why Boba Fett has seemingly disappeared from the expanding Mandoverse, Morrison's comments suggest that the character's absence may not be accidental. When the Book of Boba Fett premiered on Disney+, the series was positioned as a major expansion of the Star Wars streaming universe that had begun with The Mandalorian. The show promised to explore the legendary bounty hunter's rise to power in the criminal underworld following his survival of the Sarlacc pit. Instead, the series received a mixed reception from viewers. While Morrison's portrayal of the character remained widely praised, the show's narrative was frequently criticized for sidelining Boba Fett in his own story, including episodes that focused heavily on Din Djarin and Grogu.
I wanted to point that out because while everyone hates the Book of Boba Fett, people never have a bad word about this man.
Oh, no,
He's a
everybody
treasure.
loves Tim.
Kevin and I were just talking about this earlier today. We were on the phone. We were talking about just what a treasure Tamara Morrison is.
I love
Yeah.
when he randomly pops up and stuff. I was talking about how, what is the name of the movie? But it's like his first major breakout role. He is playing one of the most vile human beings on the planet.
Once Were Warriors?
Yes.
Yep.
The man some bleeping eggs.
Yeah, what I like about him is that he's very protective of the character, and he understands that he's picked up the torch from Jeremy Bulloch, and he never tried to outshine Jeremy, when he was still alive, and I always really respected that about him.
I like that he's just a simple man trying to make his way in the universe.
Despite those criticisms, Morrison had believed the show would lead to additional seasons. It was a big deal for me, he recalled. When you do a series like Boba Fett and work with Ming-Na Wen, I started to think, man, this is it. I'm away. Season 2, 3, 4.
If only it had been good.
But those expectations have not materialized. Lucasfilm has never officially announced a second season of the Book of Boba Fett, and the current direction of the franchise appears focused on other projects within the shared Disney Plus storyline. The comments that Morrison says triggered Lucasfilm's response stem from a 2025 convention appearance where he jokingly told fans to contact the studio directly if they wanted to see Boba Fett return. Reports at the time indicated Morrison encouraged supporters to send a fax or a letter or an email to Lucasfilm asking for more Boba Fett content. Shortly afterward, Morrison says he received a call from the studio, one that left the impression the character had effectively been shelved for the time being. While the actor's tone in the interview remained lighthearted, the message itself raised eyebrows among longtime Star Wars fans. Morrison's connection to the franchise goes far beyond the Book of Boba Fett. The actor first appeared in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones as Jango Fett, the genetic template used to create the Republic's clone army. As a result, Morrison's likeness has become embedded across the franchise's lore. I'm Jango. I'm Boba. I'm Commander Cody. I'm all the clones. I'm Captain Rex. The list goes on, so I really can't complain.
Has he ever played Captain Rex in live action? For that one brief second in Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
He's like, come on, Commander.
I think that's about it for Captain Rex. That I can think of right off the top of my head, anyway.
D. Bradley Baker is Rex and everything else.
Yeah. Well, no, that wouldn't have counted either. I was trying to think if he'd done it in the games, but he was not playing Rex in Republic Commando, and I'm not sure if he's done it elsewhere.
Kevin and I were saying earlier, we're like, wouldn't it be great if they do end up bringing Omega into live action if it's just Tamara Morrison in drag?
Hello, everybody.
That's
It's
awful.
me, Omega.
I've got funky witch powers too.
The power of many.
Even so, Morrison remains hopeful that Lucasfilm may eventually revisit the character. I'm shelved, that's all, he said, like a jar of peaches. When it does get open, I'm going to come out sweeter, darling. For now, however, it appears that one of Star Wars' most recognizable bounty hunters may remain exactly where Morrison says Lucasfilm placed him, on the shelf. So, I'm not sure that I agree that this is what caused the issue. I don't think Lucasfilm likes it when their talent goes out and does something like this. I'm not disagreeing that they gave him a call and they may have said, don't do that. And I guess it all depends on filming schedules. But he did appear in Obi-Wan, and that was after the Book of Boba Fett. And,
where he was the clone trooper?
Yep, and he also appeared, as you said, in Ahsoka. Briefly, but he was there. So it's not like they haven't been bringing him in for other stuff. I think what this really has to do with is, one, the reception to the Book of Boba Fett, not necessarily his comments, but also I don't think that they can get away from the fire spray system patrol craft issue. I think they don't know what to do with this character. And they know people hate the renaming of the starship. They know people despised the idea of making him this kindly mayor character. I think they really struggled with the fact that, I know you like the idea of Boba Fett being the Mandalorian. I don't. I'm glad they're two separate characters.
Well,
but
Mando,
I think
when Mando in that first episode is everything we ever thought Boba Fett was.
Yep. But I think that there is a way to distinguish the characters. I think they just don't understand that. The difference is that Mando is a bounty hunter. Boba is a bounty hunter with a darker edge. I think that Mando will take contracts that he believes are right and moral. Boba takes contracts, and I mean that in every sense of the word.
Yeah, but in the first episode, Mando takes a contract from the Empire.
Yeah, he does, but it's not one that he felt was necessarily morally compromising. I think that his set of ethics, at least initially, this is kind of why I have a problem with what I think they're doing in the Mando and Grogu, is I don't think Mando would align himself with the New Republic. I don't think that he would take on contracts exclusively for them, because I don't think he's ideologically aligned with them. I think that's what allows him to take the contract with the Empire, is that he's an independent, and he'll take contracts that wouldn't involve something like wet work, for instance. But bringing somebody in for a valid bounty, either from a government or an individual for a contract that has not been fulfilled, that I could see him doing.
I mean,
what I can't see happening...
bounty hunters are not heroes, so...
What I can't see happening is Boba deciding that he wants to be a mayor of a small Tatooine township and make sure that all of his people are happy and have melaroons to feast upon. You know, that's not the Boba Fett that any of us wanted. And I think that I don't think that they understand that there can be some contrast between these characters. I mean, look at when Boba was introduced in The Mandalorian when he first appeared in that first episode with Robert Rodriguez. They knew what they were doing with Boba there.
That was the moment I had waited my entire fandom for. Because, like, my favorite Star Wars character is Anakin Skywalker and / Darth Vader. But a very, very close second is Boba Fett. And seeing him finally, like, cut loose was one of, like that to me was a bigger pop than Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2.
Really?
Oh, dude, I went ballistic when he was capping those stormtroopers left and right. When he did that thing where he just he shot the one without even looking, like I was just like, this is everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah, let me say another thing that also kind of makes me doubt this story a little bit. It's like, if that's true, that saying that is what put the character on the shelf, then saying this is even worse. You know, this is again trying to get the fans riled up, and that would make the studio even angrier. So yeah. I just feel like there's something else going on here, and part of me wonders, is this misdirection because they're going to bring him off the shelf? Are they trying to conceal something to make it sound like we're not going to get any Boba Fett, and then surprisingly we're going to get some Boba Fett?
Maybe this year for Life Day there'll be a Boba on the sofa instead of Elf on the Shelf that they're selling at
that would be
Galaxy's
amazing.
Edge.
That would be amazing. But like the one thing that we never get to see, we have not gotten to see from Tamora Morrison as Boba Fett, is the one thing that I think everybody wants to see, but I don't know how you do it because there's no way you'd ever get him for it, is him interacting with Han Solo. Because I feel like the rivalry with Han Solo has kind of, maybe that was just a that was an EU thing that they just kind of never continued.
Well, it came out of Dark Empire, really. That's where they added legitimately to fan theories that have been lingering ever since The Empire Strikes Back. But I think you could do it, but the way you do it is not in this time frame. You'd have to go back and do the second Solo movie, which I still wish they would do. I actually think that a second Solo movie would be a good thing, and if you want to introduce that rivalry, that's the place to do it.
Should've been the first Solo movie.
I want to see Han in the corporate sector. I want to see a semi-adaptation of the Brian Daley stories. I think they'd have to be updated a little bit, but you bring Boba into that, and I think you get a good time.
There was a young adult Star Wars series in between episodes 2 and 3 that was about like a young Boba Fett. And those stories are pretty good.
You talking books?
Yeah.
Which ones are you talking about? I'm not sure that I know.
It was like a series of YA books. They were like, they were like 100 pages long, and
okay, so I never picked those up.
Yeah,
okay,
they were like books for teens, and I was freshly out of my teens at that point, so I was reading that. But yeah, they were pretty good. It shows you how like he first paints the armor, and he fights Grievous in one of them, which was interesting.
Well,
it was like they introduced Grievous in that book before. It was after Grievous had appeared in the cartoon, but before episode 3 had come out. So it was interesting.
I feel like Boba Fett has been mishandled in so many different ways, because I felt they mishandled him in the Clone Wars as well. On the other hand, I kind of like the fact that he was underneath Cad Bane for a while. I just don't like that he had daddy issues from it all the way up to the Book of Boba Fett. I loved seeing Cad Bane in live action. I hated seeing Fett's character arc being overcoming Cad Bane because he was mad at how he had been treated. That just never sat right with me.
I love that first scene where Cad Bane has the showdown with Cobb Vanth.
Yes, that one's a great scene, and I want to see. This is when he shows up
and tries to cancel Boba Fett. When he's like, Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked with the Empire.
Yep.
I love it.
I would like. I want to see what their plan for Cobb Vanth was too. I'm not sure we ever will now. Timothy Olyphant in Star Wars would be like almost my favorite thing, and so. I don't know. We'll see. Our next story up, there's going to be a couple of these. It kind of continues on a discussion that we had last night. First, Lanterns trailer reaction. Why the HBO Green Lantern series feels more thriller than superhero.
I didn't find all that thrilling.
Yesterday, HBO and Warner Brothers released the first trailer for Lanterns, the upcoming HBO series about a couple of Green Lanterns with a third popping up sooner or later. Exciting. It was a change in plans, however. The Lanterns trailer was supposed to drop today, but it leaked early, so Warner Brothers shrugged and released it early. Lanterns follows Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart as they investigate a crime in that's supposed to be Nebraska? That is not Nebraska. That is more than it appears, while Hal trains John to be a Green Lantern. Lanterns arrives on HBO in August, and you can see the trailer below.
I was far less kind in my article about this.
I thought it was like Oklahoma.
I was thinking Texas.
I thought they were in Texas.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The Lanterns trailer puts more emphasis on the dynamic between Hal and John, particularly Hal's training of John, than the mystery, selling the show as being more about the characters than the plot. Whether or not that's a good thing depends on how well the characters are drawn, and we can see the outlines already. Hal is old school, grizzled, and not keen on being replaced, while John believes he already knows more than Hal can teach him and is eager to supplant him.
And I'm sure the show will back him up on that assertion.
Hal's line about staying the Green Lantern of Earth as long as he's alive is a pretty clear signal about where this is going. The problem, at least in the Lanterns trailer, is that John is not very likable. He's not only brash and cocky, attributes one would expect from this kind of story, but he's also outright dismissive of Hal, essentially telling him to retire and make way for someone who will do his job better. And it doesn't help that Darren Pierre seems to have no energy in these scenes, talking like he's being anesthetized before a root canal. Hal comes off much better, and the footage shown in the trailer, which, to be fair, can be deceptive, makes you want him to teach John a thing or two about being a Green Lantern and keeping his comments to himself. But the show is almost certainly not going to do that, as creator and showrunner Chris Mundy has said that Lanterns is, in a lot of ways, about replacement. When should someone step aside, and when is it time for the next person to take the reins? So John is going to win, unless they decide to answer that question with never. In that respect, Lanterns feels like another DCU project that has James Gunn's fingerprints all over it, despite someone else nominally being in charge. Chris Mundy has written for and produced Ozark, Bloodlines, Criminal Minds, and True Detective, and he was the showrunner on Ozark, which accounts for the small-town crime setting. But the weird character beats, like the young upstart who knows more than his mentor, the hints at traditional America being the real bad guy, something rumored a few months ago, and entirely in keeping with Gunn's modus operandi lately, the cursing in a childish, look at all the bad words I know way, the tough lady who seemingly doesn't like the hero one bit but whom the hero inexplicably loves, all feel like Gunn. What does feel different from other DCU projects is the lack of superhero trappings. The Lanterns trailer shows the Green Lantern suit quickly, but no one is wearing it. The ring is also present, but it's sitting on a dashboard. And while it's implied...
The costume is also brown.
It looked more whitish to me. There was another accent color, but I didn't think it was brown.
I thought it was brown.
I'd have to go back and look again.
Well, the startling lack of green says everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure we're going to talk about that in a minute.
We are. A little later, but we do. And while it's implied that John uses it, we don't see it. This could very well be different on the show, which is said to have cosmic implications that will flesh out the larger DCU story. But so far, it looks like they're being kept very far in the background. Hal flies at one point, but that's the extent of the Green Lanterns using their powers. Lanterns is not being marketed as a superhero show, but as a thriller that happens to have superheroes in it. Not everyone is a fan of this approach. I remember growing up and reading Green Lantern comics and thinking, I can't wait to see two guys driving around in a car.
Yeah. My favorite was somebody posted in bronzest day and beigest night, no superpowers are in sight.
That's good.
Yeah.
And it is an odd choice for characters with powers as wild and imaginative as the Green Lanterns. Is this a budget-saving decision? A way to make a relatively cheap production while saving the bigger Green Lantern action for the movies? It's funny to think that a character like Peacemaker has a show full of special effects, costumes, alternate universes, and alien invasions, while the Green Lantern show is about a rural mystery with two guys in windbreakers. It's not that the setup can't work, it's that the impression the Lanterns trailer gives, mixed with the DCU's admittedly short track record, suggests it won't this time.
This is the classic Warner Brothers overcorrection. This is the stark, polar opposite of the Ryan Reynolds movie. Now, the problem was all that space and all that green.
Oh, and here's the best part. The thing that worked in Ryan Reynolds' movie was the space part.
It was the only thing that worked. The problem was that they were on Earth too much.
Mm-hmm. And he was playing Wally West, not Hal Jordan.
Yes.
But
I went back and rewatched that scene where he goes to Oa, and everything there from Tomare to Kilowog to when he has that duel with Sinestro, like it's all phenomenal.
Hang on a second. I'm responding to something in the chat. Banter.
Do you ever see things like this and think to yourself, I have to be the crazy one? Like, it has me questioning, wait, isn't Hal Jordan a test pilot? No, he can't be a test pilot. He's driving around in a Caprice. Mm-hmm. You know, like, he drives cool cars and awesome jets. And
yep.
He's not allowed to be cool. He's not allowed to be cool.
So you know this didn't go the way they really wanted it to go, because every single shill under the planet is screaming at everybody about how brilliant this was. My favorite being John Rocca. James Gunn said it was going to be in the vein of True Detective. No one wants True Detective. I don't care about True Detective. I'll even go as far as say there was only 2 good seasons of True Detective. Everything else is everybody pretending that they like True Detective.
Do True Detective with a question or something like that, like some other detective character.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, there are characters that should have that kind of story. Green Lantern is freaking Babylon 5 meets Miami Vice. Just throw them in space and do cool stuff. They're cops. They're space cops. Let them go do cop things on other people's planets.
So I'm going to throw out a question here. just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I don't really have a lot of hope for the plot of this movie because I can already see the direction it's going. But do you think they're just deliberately not showing the powers because they want to give a wow moment when they're finally revealed?
Oh, I'm sure that's it. But right now, like, here's the reality of it. The DCU needs we're past home one point. It needs a grand slam. Creature Commandos was a dud. Superman underperformed and blew no one's skirt up. The Supergirl cannot get an ounce of traction at all. They could say, we're going to give you a gold bar if you buy a movie ticket, and no one's going to buy a ticket to this movie. And Peacemaker season 2 was an absolute train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares. And I know we want to pretend like this 91K in 24 hours is something that's impressive. But when you look at the engagement from all the other DC properties that got released, specifically the DCU stuff, they are about 10 to 20K behind everything else, including Supergirl, that really got no traction. So, and then when you analyze the comments on Instagram and Twitter, mostly all say the same thing. Where's the color green? No one asked for this. No one asked for old retards. No country for old retard lanterns.
And then Warner Brothers mocked everybody for that. HBO Max shared a screenshot where they zoomed in on the little green fry basket on the table when they're having lunch, and they're like, "Look, there's the green." And I'm like, "No, you don't get to do that."
That's really. That is so tone deaf. That is the kind of thing
DC shared it. The official DC account shared it.
Yeah, it's because that's the interns assigned to. Like, listen, I'll give this. Then Zaslav canceled Lindenhoff's awful attempt at this, and it looks like they kept most of the stupid story beats, with the exception of the gay Alan Scott stuff. Because it was really kind of bizarre that your driving points to your story was going to be a gay man hanging around the docks looking for booty. Reinforcing an ancient stereotype that we're not supposed to be talking about.
So I do want to ask a question here because I don't know how the modern comics handles this. One of the things that would bother me about Alan Scott being in it is that the original Green Lantern's powers were magic-based, and his weakness wasn't yellow, it was wood. Yes. And to me, that's a totally different Green Lantern than the Green Lanterns that we know. And to me, you should not mix those. Is that still how Alan Scott is handled? Or
arguably, yes, his weakness is still wood.
Good one, Martin.
You
in the comics, they found a way to tie. What was it? The Starfire, or what? I can't remember what it's called at the moment. They found a way to give it a tighter link to the to Oa, so that they were a little more in sync.
But even before that, though?
It's still mostly magic based. Yeah. Even
before that, though, Alan Scott was made an honorary member of the Green Lantern Corps in the was it the 80s or 90s when they did that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Bugs me. It just bugs me. That to me is just wrong.
Look at the creative team you have here. You have Chris Mundy, who did True Detective, who is the last person you want to do a sci-fi thing. You have Damon Lindelof, J.J. Abrams' disciple, who does not understand anything about this and wrote Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, he also butchered Watchmen.
Yeah, and Watchmen, and ruined Watchmen. And then you have Tom King, the worst comic book writer of the last 10 years, who actually had Hal Jordan say the line, "Let's be honest right now, I don't even know what the hell Will is. Do you?" That's a Tom King line. I don't even know what Will is. That's Green Lantern. Willpower incarnate.
I just want to say to everybody who told me that when James Gunn hired Tom King to round out his team, and I said, this is going to be straight doo-doo, and everybody said, calm down. Here's my I told you so.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer was garbage, and it really makes me sad. I have wanted... I like Green Lantern. I want Green Lantern to succeed. I feel like he's been the whole, with the exception of when Jeff Johns was doing all of the retconning, it feels to me like he's always been B tier and largely ignored and misunderstood.
So it's. I was pointing out, Green Lantern and Flash were vital to the Silver Age relaunch. They were and Green Lantern in particular was Hard Travel Heroes. Green Lantern in particular has been able to do some storytelling experimenting that you didn't really have the freedom to do in, let's say, Superman or Batman. And then, they did the bold thing of letting Hal age a little bit, and they walk that back. It's just when you look at DC characters, you have duos and trios, and the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Flash trio was the B team trinity. They pulled Barry off the field, so they were kind of left a twisting. They kind of left Hal twisting in the wind, and then they made Ollie old too, and they got rid of them all roughly at the same time and realized we should not have done this because sometimes you need your classic characters back. Green Lantern is a foundational DC character. There is no rhyme or reason that he has a TV show where 3 times in the trailer they're dropping hard F-bombs. It's just not there. There's no reason for it. I can't have my kid sit down and watch this.
It's exactly what I said last night.
Now you have again this. They need a certifiable hit. But when does this come out before or after Supergirl?
I don't actually know. To be honest, I think Supergirl is this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this summer. Yeah. So
I got I think Supergirl may be first, but I don't know that for sure. Do you know, Marvin?
I want to say this might come out before Supergirl.
Well,
okay.
That into itself kind of proves my point. No one knows when this is coming out. As bad as Marvel TV has been, people know when Marvel TV show is going to drop versus a movie. So right now, no one cared about Superman. No one cared about Peacemaker, and Creature Commandos came and went and irritated anybody who had the desire to inflict self-torture to watch it. So right now, again, you need a home run, and okay. Green Lantern should have been the thing that rallied the troops, as opposed to more polarization.
So I just looked it up. Supergirl is June 26th, and Lantern's debuts in August, so it'll be coming after Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
So will it be close enough that if Supergirl isn't doing well, they can pull it and say they needed to get it out of the way for Lanterns to come out, like they did with Superman and Peacemaker?
Oh, man, they could try the excuse, but I just don't see the cinematic and TV properties competing with each other that way.
No one bought that excuse. We all know what happened. This movie wasn't making the money it was supposed to make. So let's just see if we can recoup something on VOD and blame it on Peacemaker. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they do the same thing. But if that's the case, then it'll be 5 strikes. You're gonna again. I'm gonna be shocked if Supergirl does anything remotely interesting. But so that you're gonna three separate projects that whiffed. And you're gonna have Supergirl looks like it's gonna be number 4, and at this point, unless the next trailer shows you something so spectacular that you're willing to forgive the fact that no one's wearing the color green, that it's another broken down old hero living a miserable life when Hal Jordan's supposed to be cocky to the point of being brash. When he's really he's just really overly confident. He's snarky, but he's also driven by duty. He's exciting. You should be getting Maverick at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you should be getting Maverick. And instead I got sad drunk Sad drunk has to replace his has to train his replacement on the line.
Kevin, I got to cut you off because we had a giant super chat come in.
Ooh, nice.
From Snark for $99.99 for Kevin nerfing a video. So I guess that 5 hours actually supplied him with some kind of entertainment.
Nice.
It's like $20 an hour.
It was brilliant.
What's that?
I told you it was brilliant.
That's true, Martin. It is like $20 an hour.
And for that entertainment and our thanks to you, here we go.
You know the best part? It probably would have still been going on if I hadn't needed to unplug the PlayStation and move it.
I think you actually need to do this again, but actually do stick a secret message in there somewhere, some kind of a great prize or something.
I buried Paul.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Trish, since you've been relatively quiet, why don't you explain that to the audience for those who don't know what that reference means?
Well, where's the Beatles bell when you need it? It's just a little Beatles joke. They thought back in the day that Paul McCartney was not actually Paul McCartney anymore, and that it was some sort of look-alike after the real one passed away. And there were all of these quote-unquote hints in their music, and one of them was if you played part of a song backwards, you would hear "I Buried Paul," and it was really just John Lennon saying "cranberry sauce." So
I thought it was Paul is dead.
That's like the whole thing is Paul is dead.
Okay.
But there's a specific thing in a song where he's really saying cranberry sauce, but people are like, he's saying, I buried Paul. And it's like, no, he's not.
Maybe it's the same people that took out Jim Carrey.
Oh my God. We could go down a hole.
James Mangold's Star Wars film reportedly dead after being on hold for months.
Okay, can I rant about this for a second? Because all of a sudden, Jeff Snyder and all of these people are coming out and saying this. We have been saying this since May of 2025 on that Park Place. I have written so many articles on the fact that this movie, all signs point to this movie is not happening. And now all of a sudden, all the shill outlets are picking it up almost a year after we've started reporting on it. And Jeff Snyder can be like, oh, well, I'm hearing through the grapevine. F you, dude, because I've been talking about this since May.
Is this the gayest cancellation ever?
Yes, exactly.
Is Filoni wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and a duster?
Well, I wouldn't call that a duster, but it is a long jacket. It looks like it's made of felt.
It looks like Heck is coming with him.
It's a gay duster. Is what it is. It's the kind of duster that you wear when you pee sitting down.
Rumors are rapidly growing that the long-discussed James Mangold Star Wars film may be dead at Lucasfilm, as we have been reporting for nearly a year. Boy, this really is sticking in your craw, isn't it?
It really stuck in my craw.
A new report from Bespin Bulletin suggests that Mangold's planned Star Wars project, commonly referred to as Dawn of the Jedi, could now be effectively cancelled after spending months in development limbo. While the project has not been officially scrapped by Lucasfilm, multiple insiders now indicate that the film may be dead, or at least mostly dead, raising fresh questions about the studio's
sincerely dead.
Raising fresh questions about the studio's ability to move its announced Star Wars movie slate into actual production. No, folks, this is the plan. This is them letting you know this is a pivot. The latest rumors arrived just weeks after former Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy publicly acknowledged that the James Mangold Star Wars project had stalled. In her exit interview with Deadline, Kennedy confirmed that the script has been completed, but the project was no longer actively progressing. Jim Mangold and Beau Willimon wrote an incredible script, but it is definitely breaking the mold, and it's on hold, Kennedy said. That admission marked the first time Lucasfilm publicly acknowledged the movie had paused development despite years of messaging that suggested the project was still moving forward. For months, the lack of casting announcements, production timelines, or development updates had fueled skepticism within the industry. Not to mention Dial of Destiny. Kennedy's statement reframed that silence as something more concerning: inactivity. The newest speculation surfaced during an episode of The Hot Mic, where film insider Jeff Snyder discussed the status of Mangold's project. According to Snyder, he recently heard that the film may no longer be moving forward. "I heard this week, actually," Snyder said. "I just heard it, that it's like dead. But I haven't asked, so I can't say that conclusively, but it doesn't sound good. I think Mangold is focused on that Timothée Chalamet heist movie is what I think. I think Swamp Thing could be after that." Snyder noted that he had not confirmed the information with his usual source and stressed the claims should still be treated as rumor rather than reporting. However, the comments were quickly amplified when a social media account known for occasional Star Wars scoops echoed the same claim earlier in the day. Fives Walker saying, "I'm hearing that James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi is dead. No other info than that right now." While neither claim represents official confirmation, the fact that similar information surfaced from two separate places has intensified speculation that Lucasfilm may have quietly abandoned the project. Even before the latest rumors emerged, questions were already growing about the status of the James Mangold Star Wars film due to the director's expanding slate of projects outside Lucasfilm. As previously reported here on That Park Place, Mangold recently signed a major deal with Paramount Pictures to develop, direct, and produce new feature films for the studio. At the same time, he has also been linked to additional projects, including a heist film starring Timothée Chalamet and DC Studios' planned Swamp Thing adaptation. With multiple new commitments piling up, it has become increasingly unclear where a large-scale Star Wars production would fit into Mangold's schedule. The uncertain future of this James Mangold Star Wars project also exists in the context of his last collaboration with Lucasfilm, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The film carried a reported production budget approaching $300 million before marketing and ultimately became one of the most significant box office disappointments of the Disney-era Lucasfilm slate. While Mangold received praise from some critics for his craftsmanship... Can I pause on that for a minute?
Look, I gotta be fair. There were good reviews for it.
I want to talk about the craftsmanship of that picture. Every element of his costume was wrong. Of the main character of Indiana Jones. The hat was wrong, the jacket was wrong, the bag was wrong, how he wore it was wrong, the belt was wrong, the gun was wrong, everything was wrong.
I almost didn't put that line in, but then I was like, I gotta be fair.
The film's financial outcome reinforced growing concerns within Disney about the rising costs associated with legacy franchise productions. That environment has reportedly pushed studios towards a more cautious approach to large-scale projects. A new Star Wars film exploring the origins of the Jedi, set thousands of years before the Skywalker saga, would likely require an enormous production budget, making it a particularly high-risk undertaking in the current climate. If the James Mangold Star Wars project has indeed been abandoned, it would join a long list of high-profile Star Wars films that were announced with fanfare but never materialized. Over the past decade, Lucasfilm has publicly revealed numerous movie plans, from Daisy Ridley's New Jedi Order Rey movie to various standalone films, only for them to quietly disappear from the studio's release calendar. At Star Wars Celebration 2023, Lucasfilm unveiled 3 films meant to shape the franchise's theatrical future. A James Mangold-directed origin story about the first Jedi, a Rey-led sequel film directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, and a New Republic crossover movie from Dave Filoni tying together the Disney Plus series era.
It sounds like you were casting a spell for a second.
Yet years later, none of those projects have entered production. For now, Lucasfilm has not issued any official update on the status of Mangold's film. But if the latest reports are accurate, the once-hyped exploration of the origins of the Jedi may have quietly joined the growing pile of Star Wars movies that were announced, but never actually made. Thank God.
Agreed.
Discuss.
What amount of money would it take us as a panel to accept from Disney to make an Origin of the Jedi movie where obviously the Force is either created by or first understood by a group of women? We know this. Of course, Disney would do that. But then the Jedi represent men who come in to take over and push women out of using the Force.
Well, that's why they had to develop the thread, obviously.
Right. I'm just saying we could probably do this for cheaper than Mangold, but would we accept the blood money?
No. There's no amount of money that you could pay me to do something like that. No, I have a price, but it's higher than anything they could offer.
I don't know. They've cut some pretty big checks over there.
Marvin, would you do it?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the basics of the question here?
So I'm saying, obviously, what Disney wants is space witches were the ones who discovered the Force.
Of course.
And then a bunch of men came along, the Jedi, and
Culturally appropriated it, yeah.
Appropriated it, pushed them out, relegated them to the side, and took over being the ones who represent the Force to the galaxy. This is obviously the story they want to tell.
Mhm.
What would we accept in payment to write this story for Lucasfilm?
I could never debase myself to do that.
Martin,
I truly don't think I could.
this sort of implies that you might. What's your price?
I don't know. The rest of Disney. Yeah.
So you would leave Star Wars in their control and accept the rest of Disney as payment? This seems backwards.
So Disney has a lot of other stuff that may be more culturally important.
Trish,
Yes.
nothing. Just
What's up?
Trish.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hi. That's my name. Don't wear it out, as they said in the 90s.
Kevin?
4.5 million. I have no problem taking the history of England and applying it to Star Wars.
You'd
I'd
actually do it?
I'd do it in a heartbeat. It's already dead.
What are you talking about, like Empress Maud or something like that?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Any place England went throughout history, I'm gonna make it space wizards stealing it from space witches. So, well, I have no problem going. We're gonna steal all this jewelry from India. I'll just make it about magic. I don't care. England is awesome that way. There's plenty of we can make 50 billion movies. I'll even go. Give me 3.5 and some points in the back end. I'll give you whatever you need. I would
Be right for you a long time.
That's right. I'd make it reverse blaxploitation.
We do have a super chat here from Douglas Nutt for 2. Jordan attempts to yeet his replacement. Well, I think technically he yeets himself out of a car and then hopes the yeet of the car will either prove or disprove whether or not John's ready for the job. This didn't really feel in keeping for me with Hal, but, what do I know? Obviously, they got some issues to work out. Time is advancing a little faster than I expected, so there is one story that I want to get to quickly just because this one was interesting to me, and I think that you'll like it too, Kevin. This one is Terrence Howard says he lost Iron Man 2 by threatening Susan Downey's producing partner.
This is a wild story.
This is a wild story.
This interview. It's a great interview.
This actually answered a question that I've had for a long time because they have implied what got him to lose the role before, but none of that ever rang true to me. This actually does ring true, and I kind of hate it because I actually liked Terrence Howard for Rhodey. I like him better than Don Cheadle. I like Don Cheadle. I got no problem with Don Cheadle, but I liked the way that Howard played Rhodey. Anyone?
No, I agree, 110%. I like Don Cheadle, but Terrence Howard would have been a far more compelling Rhodey, I think.
So this was fascinating. Terrence Howard just revealed another possible, sure, maybe it was this, possible reason for losing his part in Iron Man 2. He threatened a major Hollywood producer who was a partner with Susan Downey, Robert Downey Jr.'s wife, which also explains Robert's anger at him. While appearing on the PPD podcast, Howard discussed his career with host Patrick Bet-David. He described an incident that occurred at the Venice Film Festival while he was promoting The Brave One, a thriller he made with Jodie Foster. According to Howard, a reporter asked him why his name wasn't above the movie's title with Foster's, which Howard describes as gaslighting. Angry, Howard approached the film's producer demanding to know why his name wasn't above the title. The producer was Joel Silver. Joel Silver is not just any movie producer. He's a Hollywood legend who has produced films such as Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Predator, The Matrix, 48 Hours, Roadhouse, Commando, and many more. Silver explained to Howard that his name was not above the movie's title because he was not the star of The Brave One. Jodie Foster was. Howard responded by threatening to knock Silver's teeth out if he ever spoke to Howard that way again, a way that Howard took as demeaning. This made for an awkward flight home from Venice for Howard, Silver, and The Brave One's other producer, Susan Downey, wife of Robert Downey Jr., and an eventual executive producer of Iron Man 2. As Howard told it, and then, about 8 months later, I lose Iron Man. In Iron Man, Howard played Colonel James Rhodey Rhodes, Tony Stark's best friend and eventual superhero compatriot, War Machine. Howard was famously the highest-paid actor in the film, as Downey was in a career slump following his legal issues and, due to his past use of illicit substances, was expensive to insure. Starting with Iron Man 2, Rhodey was played by John Cheadle, and several stories about Howard's dismissal floated around, one of which was that Marvel wanted them to take a pay cut for Iron Man 2. Another was that director Jon Favreau and the producers didn't like Howard's performance. But for a guy who wants to credit for Robert Downey Jr.'s career comeback, Terrence Howard seems at peace now, willing to look at his own role in his dismissal from Iron Man 2. He readily admits he was wrong to threaten Joel Silver, whom Howard says did nothing wrong. He attributes the hot temper of his early years in Hollywood to a difficult childhood during which he was regularly attacked in his neighborhood, saying he was battling shadows from the past. He even recounts an incident where Denzel Washington told him he should calm down and let go of his rage. He also seems to have let go of any anger or resentment over losing his Marvel role, telling Bette David that he loved his experience working on Iron Man and showering Robert Downey Jr. with praise. He wasn't trying to be Iron Man. He was Tony Stark. And Howard has several projects either completed or in post-production, clearly having moved on from his past, though it's worth noting that Joel Silver isn't producing any of them. So I was kind of glad that we finally kind of an explanation that fits what we knew about this. I always thought all of the other ones were bogus. Had any of you ever heard this story before?
No, this is a first for me. I believe this one.
Yep, that was the way I took it too. Trish, this is a rare case where I don't know if you followed this story or not. Are you familiar with this?
As far as I've seen the Marvel movies, and I knew that there was a change between 1 and 2, and that up until, I guess, this point, I never really knew why. I mean, again, I don't know if this is actually true either, but it sounds plausible.
Had you heard any of the previous rumors about why he had been let go?
I think I heard one about money, and that was it.
Yeah, it just always seemed bogus to me, because it's not like if you hire somebody for a role for the first movie, you know that that's the starting point for what you're going to pay. If you're going to come back for a sequel, it's like you don't expect that number to go down. And I could never believe that they had a complaint about his performance, because honestly, I thought that he owned it in that first movie. I did know that there was tension between him and Robert Downey Jr., and that he had made claims that he was responsible for getting RDJ's career back on track. But even that seemed ridiculous for RDJ to be mad about that. You know, it's like, I could see you maybe seeing it as that's a slight against his acting, and that he couldn't have done it without Terrence Howard. But to be that angry, it just didn't wash. So this makes way more sense. Anyway, we're past the first hour. It's probably time to get into our main topic. Cinema hits, misses, oddballs from 1998. This was a tough year, I thought. I didn't like looking through this year. But we're going to start off with Trish. Trish, you had a bunch of movies I'd never even heard of, which was interesting. So we'll start with this one.
Okay, this is Trish's girl pick. Although I spoke with Kevin beforehand, we were comparing lists and he had it on there too. So I was like, okay, maybe this isn't as obscure, but this is one of Angelina Jolie's first movies. I might have mentioned this before on probably the show at some point, but it's a biopic about Gia Karanji, the supermodel. I believe Angelina Jolie may have won an award for this. I'm not 100% sure. I think she might have won a Golden Globe for this. It's an HBO movie. If you are interested in, supermodels like the 70s, very late 70s, early 80s, and it's a really sad story. It's not a pick-me-up. I thought it was really well done, and I would recommend seeing it. And if you like Angelina Jolie, I would say see it because she does a really good job in it. And I know obviously Kevin had it on his list too, so I know he's at least seen it.
Yeah, this was coming off of 2 good years for HBO because I can't remember which one came first. It was introducing Dorothy Dandridge through Gia, but they, those 2 movies put HBO movies on the map. It's a shame that they don't make more movies anymore.
Yeah. I actually own this one. I liked it so much I have it on DVD. Okay. This is not on here necessarily because it's a quote-unquote good movie. The reason why I put this on here is because I thought it was an interesting example of when somebody has an idea and writes one movie and then the studios and everything get involved and turn it into another movie. And then that weakens the movie. And then when the initial person decides to put out like their own like director's cut, blah, 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 it's a completely different movie that is received better, at least in some circles. And that's what happened with 54. The original, writer, director, and all that, they had a whole vision of what it was going to be. It was a little bit darker. I think it focused a little bit more on people's persuasions, shall we say. And I believe it was Harvey Weinstein, I want to say I read, was like, oh, well, let's, take this out and put this in, and kind of changed the tone and the trajectory of the movie. And the movie suffered for it. Mike Myers does a good job as Steve Rubell, one of the owners and creators of Studio 54. So even if you can't get your hands, if you were interested in the director's copy, I don't know how people see it. Every time I found any kind of copy of it, it was just the one everybody knows from the movie theater. It was, that one. So if you can get your hands on it, or at least maybe like a YouTube video of seeing Mike Myers, I think it's interesting because it was 1998, so he wasn't taking a lot of particularly serious roles, but this was a serious role for him, and he did a surprisingly good job in it. Otherwise, if you like disco, if you find that time period interesting or anything like that, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's like, an interesting couple of hours. But yeah, I felt like it was one of those movies where the story behind it was a little bit more interesting, perhaps, than the movie itself. And then, of course, the subject matter was far more interesting than the movie got into, but that's neither here nor there.
You picked this because they didn't release a Scream movie this year, but you still wanted something with Nev Campbell.
It did dawn on me that Nev Campbell was in it. I guess I just like Nev Campbell movies. I don't know. Oh, well, I was actually, Kevin, talk about this one with me because we both had a list. I was like, oh, Kevin, you can have this one if you want it. So this will be a duel.
This is one of those movies that could probably never get made today. But it's just bleeping hysterical, especially when you when you realize that you have friends who experience unrequited love and build someone up in their head and maybe drive themselves a little cuckoo crazy, and you watch this play out in real time.
I love her, man.
I love her, man. I love Mary.
And Kevin and I cannot possibly be the only 2 people who have seen this on this panel.
I've seen it.
Okay, I was going to say, I feel like this movie was pretty big when it came out, right?
Work with retards. I love those goofy little bastards.
My wife has a story about this. She saw this while she was still in high school. Like, her dad and stepmother rented it, and so she's stuck on a couch with them watching this movie, just getting steadily more uncomfortable. She's like, I'm gonna go do my homework. I got a paper to get done.
I'm just gonna walk away now. Okay, can't hardly wait. This is, Trish was a teen. Was turning sweet 16 in the year 1998. So Can't Hardly Wait came out like the perfect time. It was a real like renaissance for these types of movies. I feel like all of these they weren't really about anything. I mean, this is really just about, Ethan Embry likes Jennifer Love Hewitt's character and there's a big party and it hits at the right time, right? At least for me. I don't know about anyone else here, but I have a soft spot for this movie. And it has a halfway decent soundtrack. It's not the best soundtrack I've ever heard, but there's a few songs on it that are pretty good that I always think of with this movie. So
this is a 90s time capsule movie.
Yeah, it is.
Is that a Cullen I see?
That is Peter Facinelli pushing whoever that is his face out of the way.
So yeah, this is I graduated in 1998 through 1999 movie. This is it. This is the movie.
I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. Of course, this had to be on here with the Scream 2 spoof poster.
I didn't see this on your list because I put this on my list.
Of course, this was on my list, and Kevin knew as much. I
thought it was strange that it wasn't on your list. That's why I put it on mine.
It was the first thing that I wrote down when I was making a list. This is the movie. This is the movie that gave us Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, and I feel like that could have gone awry, like in other movies introducing a character like that. It wouldn't have worked, but it's absolutely perfect. And Jennifer Tilly she just dives right into everything about it. She breathes life into it. Not that there was anything lifeless about the rest of it necessarily, but she's just an absolute gem in this movie. And when she came back in the Chucky show, I cheered because I love her in this movie. I know I can't be the only one. And I know there's probably a bunch of guys who think she looks really hot in it because she does. She's like a bombshell in it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, man. The doll love scene. It's just also, it's so over the top ridiculous when the guy gets hit by the car. Oh,
and it has John Ritter in it.
Yes, it's just so over. It just works because it's so ridiculous.
Okay, so Halloween H2O was the follow-up of the awful one with Paul Rudd in it. Poor guy. This one had, once again, Kevin Williamson still cranking out great movies, in my opinion, in the 90s. This one kind of brought things back to earth, I feel like. And it kind of skips some stuff. Like, it leaves out some stuff, but does kind of... The Halloween timeline is very messed up. So this is just another branch in that direction. But I legitimately like this sequel.
This is a great sequel.
This was meant to be the end, wasn't it? Like, because Michael Myers gets decapitated at the end of it.
Yeah, there's multiple movies where I think it was meant to be the end of Halloween and Michael Myers, and then it just wasn't. Perhaps it should have stayed that way. I don't know with this movie, but...
Yes.
Okay, so I put these three together because for me, it's not so much about each movie as it is laid out like this. I think you really start to see the effect that my beloved Scream started having on the genre at that point, because this is only 2 years removed from the first one, 1 year removed from the second one, and you get all of these teen and like early 20-something ensemble movies they all have the same. I think Kevin Williamson even has something to do with The Faculty, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, oh no, right, it says right there, screenplay writer of Scream and Scream 2. So I mean, he's just... The Faculty has aliens in it, which is a little different, like little brain slug things in it. Yeah, it's a little different in that regard than the other ones, but for me, it's not so much about each of these movies so much as just in horror in general, and specifically like this is where we were at, and it's just how quickly we started putting out. And I'm not saying I dislike any of them necessarily. It's just kind of funny how that winning formula hit, and now they were just like, boom, boom, boom. We're just going to keep putting these movies out. Like, I would not be surprised if people hadn't seen some of these, because there's so many that they could slip through the cracks for people. Like, even people who probably enjoy those movies in general. Like, I can't imagine Urban Legend is one a ton of people saw, but maybe I've seen it. I own it, but maybe that's just me.
Did they make 3 of those or just 2?
They definitely made
at least 3.
Is there? Because I know there's at least one sequel that I haven't seen, but I'm sure is utterly terrible.
But I was surprised to not see Disturbing Behavior on your list.
I've actually never seen Disturbing Behavior, so I didn't put it on there yet. Yeah. But, you know, I still know what you did last summer does hit in a specific spot for me, because I always love stories where people are like trapped somewhere, like they're on an island and they're trapped at this hotel during a storm. Like, that hits all of my sweet spots. The movie's like not as fun or as good as I know what you did last summer, but I don't know, it's got like cheesy kind of fun, and it's goofy, and it's got like some dopey stuff, but I still have fun with it. You know, it's not like the next movie that they make direct to video that really has nothing to do with the franchise. They just slap the name on it essentially, but yeah.
Someone's gnawing. Lorn is unmuted.
I was saying that was Trish's picks. We do have a super chat that we'll get to before we get to Kevin's. That is, which movie did you go to for the episode 1 trailer? I went to Pleasantville, didn't see it, so I had to see Enemy of the State the next day.
Oh,
I probably went to Enemy of the State.
I actually didn't see it in the theater. I saw it online first. Or actually, I may have actually seen it on Entertainment Tonight first before I downloaded it. I don't recall which it was. One of those was the first one I saw it.
Oh yeah, no, I was working in the movie. I think I saw it on TV first, and then I think, well, actually, I remember this. So the trailers used to come in a separate package. So the manager at the time ran up, and he stitched a bunch of old trailers so that the film was long enough to run through. And it was an absurd amount of energy we put into watching this trailer before we knew what movie we were going to throw it in front of. I still have it. I still have the film here. I don't know what to do with it. I'm pretty sure it's almost worthless, but I'll find someone who wants it someday.
Martin,
either of you?
I didn't go see a movie to see the trailer. I just saw it normally.
Well, I saw Enemy of the State. So I'm pretty sure I saw it on that.
If I remember right, there was a big frenzy because there was a rumor that it was going to be attached to one movie in particular, but I don't remember what that was.
I can't remember. Shoot.
I remember that people were doing all this research online trying to figure out where's it going to be, and it was supposed to be attached to one picture, and it greatly boosted the box office of that picture. But anyway, Salsa Studios for 10. Urban Legends 2 is more meta. Titan's about a college film crew doing an Urban Legends film.
Okay. I mean, I've never seen it, so I was good after one Urban Legend. It was enjoyable, but I didn't feel the need to expand the series either.
All right. Next up are Kevin's movies.
Oh, so listen. I looked at my list like this. I know there's gonna be some movies that people aren't going to pick, but all the good ones are going to be picked. So I wanted to pay homage to some of the straight garbage that came out in 1998. And king of that flaming dung heap is Godzilla, or Gino, Godzilla in name only. So you spend entirely too much time listening to that awful Puff Daddy song. Me. And
this song always comes up for me and Martin.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page doing anything for $1. Fine, go get paid. I don't begrudge you. I'll destroy Star Wars for less. And then just this Matthew Broderick seems like a very nice person, but I just don't ever believe Matthew Broderick could could take command of a daycare, let alone field operations of hunting a Titanic dinosaur. Yeah, all this had one of the greatest trailers ever. And then you got this. And this is especially egregious because this was my last full day of school. So we all ran to the movie theater. None of us were working. We all run to go see this movie. And the manager's like, why are you all here? Aren't you supposed to be in school? And why aren't any of you working? And then we walked out and was like, you know what? This was just a waste of time. This was awful. This was this truly terrible movie.
However,
they did
your
corporate
next
tie-ins so well in this movie, though.
your next movie is
That's right.
Oh.
The only thing good I can say about this was it was nice seeing Roger Moore in a movie. I want to see this movie because the Spice Girls were hot, and I was like, "What is this? Who got paid for this?"
Everybody.
Someone said we're going to make this movie. Someone got paid to write it. Someone got paid to direct it, and then someone paid them to be in it.
Isn't Bob Hoskins in this movie?
Yes.
Is Meatloaf in it, or am I just making that up?
Oh, God.
Why do I feel like Meatloaf is in it?
I walked out of this movie and was like, I don't know what to do with myself. And then walked back in because we had left one movie theater, run to the other. And I'm like, Andrew, why are we still watching this? And he's like, well, I have nothing to do. We drove all the way here. And I tried to sit down for another 15 minutes. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going to go sit in the lobby and talk.
Okay, guys, everybody. I'm sure you all think like, oh, like you said, they're hot. So which Spice Girl was your flavor? Everybody has a flavor. So like, which one was the one?
Ginger.
That guy. I have a feeling it's going to be Ginger for people. Everybody, put your favorite Spice Girl in the chat. Let us know who you think is the hottest Spice Girl.
Go on, now let us know your favorite Spice Girl. This is embarrassingly bad. This is so awful. I really don't know how to explain this movie other than someone decided to make a Jerry Springer movie about the Jerry Springer show, and it's garbage. It's so bad. I actually can't even think of something in the movie that made me laugh. That's how awful this movie is. Usually I can find something in a comedy. I go, ha! I don't think I had it here. Jamie Presley didn't even. I was like, no, this is just a waste of time. I feel bad for her in this movie. We all know why this movie's on the list.
Someone said in the chat, they were like, Trish, you didn't put this on yours. I'm like, it's on someone else's list.
Yeah, we all know why this year. This was another movie where I was like, hey, can I work in the other theater this weekend?
My girl Nev again.
It's like, good job, Kevin Dillon. You're the man. Between this and Showgirls, it made swimming pools awesome. Half Baked. This movie's hysterical. I don't partake in the driving force of this movie, but this movie is bleeping hysterical. From Samson to killing the horse and Butterscotch, Buttercup. His name is Buttercup. The guy.
It feels somehow appropriate that the poster is not in English. I don't know. It just feels like it fits.
But yeah, just Dave Chappelle, Jim Bruno, real. So this movie is amazing. Not this. So I talk about this movie all the time. This is the movie where Denzel spent time with my father and learned how to be an NYPD cop. But this movie predicted a whole lot of things, and it is really hard to get this movie on TV since this movie predicted a whole lot of things. But this is a fantastic movie. fantastic movie. It's terrorism and political intrigue, and yeah, Bruce Willis plays a bad guy, but Bruce Willis is playing a bad guy who isn't really all that wrong, but isn't really all that right either. And Annette Bening's just, whatever.
Yeah, I kind of thought this was around the time I was starting to become politically aware, and I'm like, yeah, they just keep making these movies where anybody outside the establishment's the bad guy, but close enough to the establishment to look like Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You go back, watch him, like, it's like, yeah, he's a little heavy-handed, but he's not wrong here, especially when you look at the kind of like what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But they straight up predicted not grabbing a certain someone was going to lead to certain things, and it just, this movie, you go back and watch it, you go, wow, I understand why they don't put this on TV. This was the era of black presidents during the destruction of Earth era. That's all I got for this one. It was okay movie.
This though is from when I noticed between this and Armageddon. This is when I first noticed the pattern of studios coming out with competing titles that were exactly the same.
I appreciate that Robert Duvall is on there. It seems timely.
This movie,
I knew this would be on your list.
Oh, I love this movie. I think this movie. So, what I love about the X-Files movie is that the season finale of the TV show bleeds directly into the movie, and the season finale, just as a fan, it just ends on such a bleak, sad note. You jump into be like, where are they going to go from here? And then the movie ends like, oh my gosh, where are they going to go from here? They don't go anywhere. But it was still super cool. I want to go see this the morning of my prom, and our prom dates were like, we're not going to have enough time for this. I'm like, I don't care. I have not going to not see the X-Files movie the day the X-Files movie comes out.
And that's how Kevin never saw his prom date again.
He was right there with me. He even followed me to KB Toy Store to go buy my Mulder and Scully figures, the ones that came with guns, because they were recalled later. Because apparently FBI agents aren't allowed to have guns.
Do you still have the Minton package?
Oh no, I open my stuff.
You're like, no. We don't do that collector stuff here.
We don't do that here. Star Trek Insurrection. This is on the list of bad treks, but I enjoy this movie because it has lots of fun character beats. So it's like one of those it's a long TNG episode, but they do lots of fun things. Like I love Star Trek V because I think Star Trek V gives you these are where these characters are at this stage in their life, and you're just kind of seeing them do their thing effortlessly. But this is one of those movies where Paramount just refused to let a Star Trek movie be a Star Trek movie, and what we wound up getting versus what we were supposed to get, you just go, why did you do this? Why did you do this? They were also running out of excuses to get Michael Dorn onto these movies.
Yeah, there's barely an explanation in that one.
They cut it. Well, they film a lot. It's all cut out. They even do a whole thing where they address the fact that Dax is dead, and they just chop it all out. When you get to the beginning of the movie, they're all in their dress attire, and you have no idea why. All cut out. And the movie's supposed to end with Quark going to the planet and trying to open up another bar, and Picard's like, "Get out of here! Why are you here? No one's gonna know what that is, so we're not gonna put it in there." I was like, "You guys were a cinematic universe before there was a cinematic universe," but it's Paramount being Paramount.
I will say this is probably the first year on our list where I actually had to struggle to get to 10.
Oh, it's about to get real bad.
Yeah,
the early 2000s are not great either.
Yeah, this is where we really make the turn to the point where I was like, man, maybe we should do TV shows that came out in the 90s instead.
Well, speaking of that, we're up to your picks.
Okay. Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain, starring Hulk Hogan. I remember nothing about this movie other than the fact that it led to Hulk Hogan having a match with Macho Man Randy Savage at Halloween Havoc in which he wore the wig. So that's why this movie gets a big plus for me, because it got me Hulk Hogan in a wig in a wrestling match. Les Miserables. This is a really interesting one. So I was like a theater kid at the time, and I saw they were doing Les Miserables movie. I assumed it was the musical, and so I got this expecting to hear Liam Neeson sing, and what I got was just a really earnest like telling of the Les Miserables story with no music whatsoever, with Liam Neeson as Jean Valjean, with Jeffrey Rush as Javert, with Uma as what's her face, the mom that dies. But you know, I really dug this movie, but it ends at Javert throwing himself into the water. It doesn't go beyond that. So that was a little strange for me, but I thought Javert and I thought Jeffrey Rush and Liam Neeson killed it in this one.
I actually really like this one because it didn't have the singing, so I actually prefer this one than listening to Liam Neeson try to fake a French accent for 40 seconds.
He's one of those common Irish French folks, you know.
Right.
They got lots of those.
You know what? Like in Les Miserables, the musical, and in a lot of French stories, everyone is Cockney British. Oi there, monsieur! Like it's every French story that's in English, the French people are Cockney British. So yeah, it was the least of my concerns. Mulan, a phenomenal Disney film that had the most terrible live action remake you could possibly stand. I mean, the thing about Mulan that makes her not a girl boss is that Mulan works exceptionally hard to become proficient at what she does. And she a lot of times has to use her cleverness instead of her brute strength, because obviously she doesn't have that. The music is great. Eddie Murphy is wonderful. We kind of got Eddie Murphy testing out what it's like, the donkey persona before he did Shrek. And this is one of the great Disney movies of all time. I couldn't say enough good things about it. I love it as much as I hate the live action remake.
I almost swapped out the live action poster just to piss you off, but
you would have really pissed me off. Yeah,
I know. I just wanted to hear the rage because I know the last time I did that, it made you mad. Mm-hmm. I was tempted, but I didn't.
Thank you for holding your temptation. Parent Trap. I really like this movie. This is a fun. Honestly, this is the Mrs. Movie Monster pick on my list because I was having a hard time, and she was just like, "Well, you have to put the Parent Trap on there." So, but I do like this movie. I thought that Lindsay Lohan actually does a decent job at it. She's got a terrible British accent, but it works. And so, like, the Parent Trap and It Takes Two are the exact same movie for the most part. And they came out within like a couple years of each other, because It Takes Two was the Olsen twins, where they didn't play twins. They were identical strangers, but the Parent Trap is literally their twins. So
this was my, I'm on the coach bus from college to go visit my girlfriend for the weekend movie. This and Lady Hawk. Every time I was on the bus, it was the Parent Trap or Lady Hawk every single time.
Yeah, I dug this movie. I thought it was good. I mean, this is the one that started it all. The first Marvel film.
What whiplash? From the Parent Trap to Blade.
Yeah, man. I'm a diverse person. What can I say?
It's less well known that Lindsay Lohan is a vampire.
Yeah. No, that's not true. She's aging very, very rapidly. But the Blade was just, I mean, this movie, like, I came into this as like a Buffy fan, like, so I love vampire hunter stories. We got into this movie, and the only thing I had known of Blade was the little bit of Blade that they had. Well, not a little bit. He was in it quite a bit, of Spider-Man, the animated series on Fox, where they did the Morbius storyline, where he was like, "I hunger for plasma."
Felicia,
little suckers on his hands instead of biting people.
Because vampires can't bite people on Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep. But the first scene of this, where the guy goes into the vampire nightclub and like the blood starts coming out of the sprinklers, and Blade just walks in, and it is just pure butt kickery from the word go. And I mean, I love this movie. I love the lore of it. I love the big final confrontation between him and Deacon Frost. This movie is as good as the sequels were not that as great.
Blade 2 is amazing.
You know what? I never finished Blade 2, actually.
Blade 2
I
is
do need to watch it at some point. Blade 3 is terrible. But
Blade
I
3
even like Donald Logue in this one. But
Blade-
I like him anyways. He's funny.
yeah.
He's great in this.
Blade 3 is only good because it had Triple H in it, and we were able to make those jokes about like Ryan Reynolds holding the world heavyweight title out the window when he's chasing the car. So yeah, I like Blade. It is the first Marvel movie, and the first Marvel movie was a black superhero. So when they start saying Black Panther is the first one, he was not. It was Blade. It's one of those Disney direct to DVD sequels that I actually really like. Simba's Pride is, I think, a really good movie. It's but the thing that I love the music in it. It's got a bunch of really good songs. It's got We Are One. It's got one of my favorite villain songs in My Lullaby. And I like Kiara. I like Kiara and Kovu. They're good characters. They gave Rafiki more to do in this one, which I like, because I liked Rafiki since he did that crazy kung fu when he was kicking the crap out of the hyenas. Oh, it's a lion. Oh my God. So yeah. But the funniest thing about this is you realize that this was written and put into production with Kovu being Scar's son. And then someone midway through this said, wait a minute, Scar is Simba's uncle, which would make Kovu Kiara's cousin, and this is a love story. And they had to hit the brakes and be like, well, he was Scar's chosen one, but he just looks a lot like Scar. Which I maintain that in the Mufasa live action film, the reason why they made it so that Mufasa and Scar were not actually brothers was so that they could eventually introduce Kovu and have him just be Scar's son.
That makes sense.
I mean, The Waterboy, it's one of the great Adam Sandler movies of our time. Gave us The Big Show as Captain Insano. Infinitely quotable film. Foosball, you playing the foosball behind my back, or like
There's
Mama,
something
when
wrong
did Ben
here.
Franklin invent electricity? I invented electricity. Ben Franklin was the devil. I love The Waterboy is a great film. Well, not a great film, but it's a fun movie. The Rugrats movie is, I loved Rugrats as a kid. I still love Rugrats. My wife and I still watch Rugrats. It's like one of our, like, we want something on, like, in the background, like while we're eating dinner, or like, just like on our phones or whatever. We'll put Rugrats on because we could both quote it. But this is the movie where Stu and Dee Dee have a second baby named Dill, and Tommy hates him so much that he tries to feed him to monkeys and leave him in the middle of the jungle. And, as somebody who was pretty young when his first brother arrived, I understood. Oh, how much time you got? I love this movie. So biblical animated films, I love that it's starting to make a comeback with things like David.
Mm-hmm.
But the Prince of Egypt is so good. The music in this movie is so powerful. From the first song, Deliver Us, to what's the one that the guy sings to him? The one where he sings it like with his wife's family. I'm trying to remember. I know how the song goes. The ancient thread in the tapestry, never see its purpose in the pattern of the grand design. Heaven's Eyes. You look at your life through Heaven's Eyes. And then, of course, the best song in the entire thing was The Plagues, where it's the "you who I called brother, how could you have come to hate me so?" I love this movie. It's very, very good. Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I even realized this was a 1998 movie. Earlier today, the Plague song actually came up when I just had like a random playlist going. You've Got Mail was a good Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie, kind of at the advent of when we were all starting to have the internet as part of our daily life. Now, the reason I liked this was I was a theater kid back then. I had just done a play called She Loves Me, which is this movie. This movie is a remake of She Loves Me with like a modern lens, because She Loves Me is a play about two people who work in a perfumery and hate each other, but they're also part of this Lonely Hearts Club where they're writing letters to like this mystery person that they're falling for and not realizing it's each other. And that's 100% what this movie is. It was a good update for it. But I remember being in the movie theater and just going, "This is friggin' She Loves Me," and somebody went, "Right?" Like from the other side of the theater. So
well, and that was made into a movie called The Shop Around the Corner.
Shop Around the Corner, yeah. Shop Around the Corner is She Loves Me is the musical stage version of it.
And that's it for Marv's list. Marv, you've got to exit.
I do.
Tell me, is there anything that you want to plug before we get out for the night?
This weekend on M4 Empire Gaming, tomorrow night, I'm going to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then we're playing on that game place. We're playing Fortnite on Sunday night. And then after that, we'll be going directly into M4 Empire Gaming, where I'll be playing Resident Evil 2 in the dark. So,
all right. Hope you all join him for that.
Thank you,
Marv,
guys.
Take care. Have a good night. We'll see you again soon.
Good night.
All right. We do have a super chat I want to get to. This was from earlier for the Godzilla movie. Salsa Studios for 5. Taco Bell dog. I'm going to need a bigger box. And now we've got Martin's movies. Martin, you're first.
All right. The Wedding Singer. I actually thought this was a better movie than The Waterboy, but maybe The Waterboy's a bit funnier. But still, I will say things like, "See, Billy Idol gets it. Why doesn't he?" Or she? It's a great movie. Adam Sandler plays a wedding singer who is just at the top of his game until he gets dumped, and then his life falls apart. Dark City. There's a couple versions of this. The original, and then a director's cut that came out years later. I like this movie quite a bit. Rufus Sewell does a great job. I always thought he probably should have been bigger in his time. But this movie covers some of the ground that The Matrix would later cover with constructed realities and false memories and things like that. It's with like cityscapes that you can't trust where you are and that sort of thing. It's a mind bender. I really liked it quite a bit. Did anybody else see that one?
I did not.
I didn't. It seems like something Kevin would say.
I saw this and I was like, I thought it might. When I saw that you were going to be on, I thought you were going to put this on, so I skipped it.
All right. So then my next one was The Pentagon Wars, which was another HBO movie, but this one was a comedy. Didn't get a whole lot of attention. I like it quite a bit, not just because Kelsey Grammer's in it, who is hilarious in mundane things, but it's almost like a British comedy, because it's a comedy about a bureaucracy and the crazy things people do within it to secure their own power. But this is the story of the Bradley fighting vehicle, which was kind of a boondoggle project that had been kicked around the Pentagon for years. And every time it passed by some general's desk, they were like, "Well, it's going to be on the battlefield, so it needs more armor." And some other general goes, "Well, it might have to cross a river, so let's make it amphibious." Somebody else goes, "Well, it's going to be out there with all these tanks. Let's put a giant gun on it." and it just becomes this massive thing, but nobody's actually willing to test it to see if it works. And finally, you get this guy who gets put into the chain of production, even though he's Air Force. He's in this Army project, and he's finally pushing for, let's actually test this thing and see if it works.
It's kind of funny that this and Gia were both HBO movies that came out the same year.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
HBO.
I wonder why Gia got so much more attention.
It was good.
Oh, it probably didn't hurt that she was eating Billy Bob Thornton's face every time there was a live camera. To the horror of John Voight in the background.
At least it wasn't her brother when it was Billy Bob. All right, Dirty Work is
so much.
I knew this was going to be on somebody's.
I mean, McDonald. I
just knew.
McDonald.
Look at Kevin. He can't even speak. He's just laughing.
From the prostitutes in the trunks of the car during the commercial to Chevy Chase being a doctor who's into the mob for his gambling addiction. I just love this movie. And then there's also a character clearly written for Chris Farley, but unfortunately, that was not to be.
That seemed to happen a few times in the late 90s, huh?
Yeah. All right. This movie doesn't get a whole lot of attention, even though it is Samuel L. Jackson in one of his more restrained performances of the era. It's really focused. It's a movie about a cop who has been accused of something. He pleads his innocence, and finally he takes hostages just to get some attention on the matter to force another negotiator to come onto the scene so that he can bring some light to it. I know that Stallone was attached to be in this movie, but I'm also pretty sure at some point this movie was envisioned as a Stallone Schwarzenegger movie with the two of them facing off, and then in the end they become friends. Like the El Guapo movie in Three Amigos. Rush Hour had to be on this list. It's late to the buddy cop genre, one of the last great ones to be made. But I'm not usually a huge fan of Chris Tucker. And that might be because I remember, and anytime I see him, I hear him saying things like, "It's green. It's all green." And Corbin! But, come on, man! But yeah, I love this movie. This is Jackie Chan in one of his biggest American roles. He had already had Rumble in the Bronx a few years before, and other stuff that got brought here. This is one of the earlier ones that was for American audiences. Has anybody seen this movie other than me? Okay, so Kevin's seen it.
You can always rely on Kevin, Mark.
Ronin is John Frankenheimer doing a heist movie. It's got a very 70s crime noir kind of feel to it, but it's also one of the best practical effects car chase scenes ever put to film. And it's just driving through the south of France. I think Nice is the big city where it takes place. But it's really well shot. If you were a fan of car chases, you've got to watch this movie.
It's so funny because I remember at the time, like, people loved the car chase, but no one talks about this anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I know I'm about to commit some sacrilege. Like, everybody talks about Bullet, but when I was old enough to sit down to appreciate the Bullet car chase, I'm like, this is bleeping boring.
Well, it's tame for this era, but not for that era.
Yeah. But yeah,
editing's not great on it. He loses like 6 hubcaps over the course of the chase in Bullet. Rushmore is one. I'm actually not a huge fan of Rushmore, but I'm forgetting the name of the director. He did Darjeeling Limited and Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. This is where he got his big break. It's the first time you see his aesthetic. And you also, thank you, Wes Anderson. This is also one of the movies where Bill Murray changed the trajectory of his career for like the third time at this point. He starts taking on like the elder statesman comedian role in this.
Quirky.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm not a huge fan of Rushmore, but I felt it was important enough for 1998 to put on the list. Although I do like that the main character is Francis Ford Coppola, like the actor is Francis Ford Coppola's nephew, and he's doing a stage production of Apocalypse Now. This was one, it's not a lot of people's favorites. I get that. It's Paul W.S. Anderson, but Kurt Russell carries this movie saying like 5 words. I mean, obviously it's more. I think somebody said it was 100 lines total, but it's all his own intensity. So the reason that Event Horizon got made was because Anderson wanted to do this movie, wanted Kurt Russell in it. Kurt Russell goes to a personal trainer and says, "Hey, there's this character I'm going to play. He's been a soldier his whole life. He was bred for it. And now he's being put out to pasture. I want to get in shape for it. How long is that going to take?" The guy tells him like 18 months or something like that. So he goes to the studio and he goes, "Yeah, so we'll start shooting in 18 months." And they're like, "Or, there's this guy you can talk to, just get some injections, some vitamins, and, get a little fat." He's like, nope. It's like, nope, we're doing this all natural. So Kurt Russell puts in the time and he looks like a soldier. He carries it off. And this is also a movie that's, the clash of generations. So you've got the guys from Kurt Russell's era who are now too old to be carrying action movies themselves. And this is sort of a movie about them being thrown away.
Oh, don't forget, it's also a quasi side sequel to Blade Runner.
I should have mentioned that, yeah, because Kurt Russell's character is they show his record, and he's at the Battle of Tannhauser Gate and stuff like that, and Roy Batty mentions Tannhauser's Gate in his speech, the Tears in the Rain speech, and then American History X. Probably I shouldn't have been the one to put it on here because it seems racist-y.
I had it on my list.
Actually, I had to. I looked at a couple of different posters. This was not the original one I had copied, but I'm like, oh no, there's that. No,
I didn't say that.
That tattoo's in it.
Like any of these.
Yeah, but a very strong, not Captain Sisko, Avery Brooks performance, and I went back and watched this, and I think I could be entirely wrong with this. A lot of the movie's intensity comes from the fact that it's in black and white, and if it was shown in color, I don't know if it would have been remembered quite the same way.
I was shocked to see an evil Mr. Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's it for Martin's picks. We're going to get to mine. I really didn't have a lot that I liked for this year, so some of these are kind of BS picks. I hope you guys forgive me for this, but here we go. I stuck on my list to start with The Truman Show. There's nothing wrong with this movie. It's a good movie. I just didn't particularly like it. However, one thing that was interesting is that earlier this year, my son started asking me about it. And I don't really know where he had heard about it. I had never talked about it at all, but he wanted to see it. He watched it. He loved it. So I guess it gets Lorn Jr.'s seal of approval if you want to know something that he liked. So this is one for him. Next one up is Rounders. I remember watching this movie. I remember liking this movie. Back around this time, I played an awful lot of poker, and so that's probably why I watched that movie. But I don't really remember much about it, other than the fact that I did like it, and it's got, Matt Damon and Edward Norton, who are always reliable and fun, and so I think that's John Turturro down there too, if I remember right. But anyway, it's one that's a good one to watch. Holy crap, we had Solstice gift another 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Nice.
So thank you once again, Solstice Studios. And to anybody out there in the chat, make sure to thank your gifter. We always love expanding the membership here. Be sure and check out some of the additional things that you now have access to, because there's a lot of good stuff out there. Let's see, our next one up. This one, I kind of go back and forth on this one. Small Soldiers. I remember being excited about this. I wanted to like this movie. I thought Tommy Lee Jones' performance in this movie was great, but I didn't like this movie. And it's always bugged me. It felt to me, in a way, kind of like it was chasing Toy Story. It wanted to be something in that vein. But this movie just didn't hit for me. What about you guys?
Yeah, I wasn't really super into it.
Me neither. And I also felt like... this was one of Phil Hartman's last roles, right? Mm-hmm. I think it may have been his last role. I thought he was funny in it, but also kind of wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're actually making me feel a little bit better now, because I thought I was going to be crucified for not really liking this movie. But it sounds like I wasn't the only one. So that actually makes me feel a bit better. I always felt guilty about not liking this. It felt like one that I really should. And somehow it just didn't work for me. Now we're getting to the stuff that I liked a little bit better. Still not quite where I want it to be, but next one up is Enemy of the State. Now, this movie I don't really remember for Will Smith, but I definitely remember for Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
Hackman's great in this movie.
Yeah.
Hackman's great in everything, but I remember just the intensity of the scene when Will Smith gets to his location, and I think he's got his cell phone on him, whatever it was, and Gene realizes he's got something that can be tracked, and he just goes bug nuts as they're getting ready to leave before everything. I just remember, for paranoia and intensity of performances, I do remember this as a good movie. I should watch it again, because I think I would like this one probably better now than when I first saw it.
You might, but do you know the movie that this is sort of a soft sequel to?
I don't know. What was it?
So there is a movie from the 70s called The Conversation.
I know that movie, but I didn't know this
plays a security specialist who his specialty is spying on people, and then it gets turned on him.
Is this the same character's name? Is it a real sequel, or is it just
Remember that his character becomes paranoid by the end, and sort of the fan theory is that he changes his name. But you'll notice his transparent raincoat shows up on some other characters, and there's a lot of connections to The Conversation in this movie.
Now that's an interesting spin. That's going to make me want to go back and watch both of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's cool. Thank you for telling me that. I did not know that. Next up is Lethal Weapon 4.
That's my favorite movie.
Yeah, I like this one too. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I did enjoy it, and somehow I never saw Lethal Weapon 2. I've seen the first one, the third, and the fourth. I've never seen Lethal Weapon 2. How would you say that stacks up against 3 and 4, for instance?
2 is stronger than 3, but 4 is better. For me, it goes 1, 4, 2, 3. And I love 2. I love 2.
Wait a second. Wasn't that Marv's order for the Scream movies as well?
Kind of, yeah. I think it was 1, 4, 2, 7, 3.
Well, I remember sitting at home when they announced this movie was coming out, and I was like, "Oh my god, thank goodness!" It was like I get another Lethal Weapon, because 3's okay. 3's okay. I think 3 gets a little bit of bad rap because the villains are a little the kind of basic versus what we had been getting. especially the previous movie we were fighting South African Nazis. So it's like you're gonna go to dirty cops and you feel like a little off. But this you get I love everything about this movie. Like they're both now too old. Your
there are
the house is finally built and gets burned down.
There are persistent rumors still to this day that they're trying to get together to do a fifth one, though.
Yeah, the fifth one is in production. Mel Gibson took over directing duties after Donner passed away.
I don't know if they should at this point, but there's a part of me that would love to see them try.
They had, and they talked about this for years, and there was a script, or not, maybe not a story treatment years ago where they had talked about they were both retired and they just happened to be somewhere like a hotel or resort or something where something happens, and now you're dealing with these two old cops who aren't cops anymore, but they're still acting like cops, and like so it was a different and then like a whole bunch of years later so I
would like the idea of Riggs as the chief of LA Police Department trying to deal with the mayor and the city council of Los Angeles.
That's cruel. Next up is kind of a dark horse pick. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think about this one. 6 Days, 7 Nights.
I think this movie got a bad rap. It's a lot better than what people say it is.
Well, it was right around the time that Anne Hesh was about to lose her mind. But I remember it as... I only saw it once. I saw it in the theaters, but I thought it was funny. I thought it was funnier than what I thought the trailer made it out to be. I thought it was fine. I don't know. Did you guys have any strong opinions on it or not? I enjoyed this performance.
I'm going to have to revisit it because I haven't seen it in a long time. Is it sort of in the vein of like Romancing the Stone?
I wouldn't say that because there's not really the fantasy adventure element to it. It's in a way, I kind of look at it as a little bit like, when Bogart did some sort of romantic comedy kind of things?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit like that in a way. It's a little bit of a throwback in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'd have to see it again to see if it holds up to the way I remember it. I just remember liking it in the theater. Trish, did you ever see this one?
No, I never saw this one.
Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't sure. Next one is sort of a default that I think you just sort of have to expect. I don't know how you could get through 98 and not see Armageddon. Everybody saw this movie. Yeah.
Or hear the Aerosmith song.
Yes.
Yeah. Over and over and over. And it's dumb. It's a big, dumb movie, but it's a fun, big, dumb movie. Every once in a while, you want a big, fun, dumb movie. I want them more often than I think the general audience, so it works for me.
Have you watched this with the commentary track on? Because Affleck is like 2 sheets to the wind.
I knew you were going to say that.
And he starts talking about how ridiculous it is to train up a bunch of drillers to go
Rough
into
decks.
space rather than train up astronauts to drill.
You're right. But I mean, you know what you're in for as soon as you see the trailer for this. If you're looking to make this make logical sense, then you're clearly not applying all of your faculties to the problem, I think. This next one didn't do well. I know people slagged on this movie. It kind of makes me mad because I loved this movie. I loved the book even more. This is a rare case where it's like I'm a voracious reader, but this is a book when I started it. It was late at night. I didn't sleep that night. I read the entire novel in one night. Just obsessed with it. Sphere.
Mm.
I think this is a much better movie and a much better story than it gets credit for. I love this movie. In some ways, it has some similarities, I guess you could say, to the Forbidden Planet in a roundabout way.
Mm-hmm.
But I adore this movie. Martin, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think it's another movie where the book is better.
Yes,
That most movies, 90% of conversions are that way. But I think this movie loses something because the book is able to go into so much more detail on the inner lives of these people.
yeah.
But I thought it was a great twist at the end. I thought the solution to the problem at the end was pretty elegant. It's a good movie.
I adore this movie. I think that it deserves a reevaluation. And finally, my last one, I think you all probably had to know what this one was. This was the best movie to come out in 1998. I love this movie. I adore this movie. Every time I watch this movie, I am surprised at how well it holds up. And yet you shouldn't be surprised. You've got Antonio Banderas, you've got Anthony Hopkins, you've got Catherine Zeta-Jones, you have delicious villains, you have, if I remember correctly, I think Bob Anderson did the stunt choreography for the sword work, who's also the guy who choreographed the fights for much of the Star Wars movies. In the original trilogy. You had Anthony DeLongis, who was the trainer for all of the whip work, who is the legendary whip stunt performer for every movie that involves whips. Antonio was born to play this part. There have been many, many people who have portrayed Zorro. Anthony Hopkins as a Welshman is an interesting choice, but actually, it kind of worked, and it's not that Catherine Zeta-Jones is as well. So this is one of my favorite movies. It has some of the best stunts. It has some of the best romance. It is funny. It is a swashbuckler. It incorporates different versions of Zorro into it in the fact that you have Don Diego and Don Antonio. You even have the callback to Bernito as his alias while he's on the hacienda while they're looking for the map. I love this movie. If you have never seen this movie, you must. Also, I think it was directed by Martin Campbell, if I remember right, who
I think that's right.
Not too long before had done Goldeneye, so he was on a real streak there for a while. Anyway, those are my picks for the night, guys. I hope you like them. We do have some super chats to get to before we close out. We have from Mike Glass, Fallen, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And we have...
Did I get booted? Is Lorn gone? Oh, Lorn's back.
Was I gone? Sorry. We have from J.J. Gosling for 2 British pounds sterling. I have the replica sword, and I am jealous. And we have from Cuban Superman for 5. Antonio Banderas is so good in Zorro that they cast him as Puss in Boots. And yes, absolutely. I love that they did that too, because he also sinks his teeth into that role as well. And really, he's not playing the character any different. It's the exact same character.
I want to say something. So we hit I think everybody assumed someone was going to pick Saving Private Ryan, The Big Lebowski, and we had, and I thought U.S. Marshals was 97, but I guess it was 98. And what else? There was something else in there that
didn't get picked. I thought you were going to pick Basketball.
I thought somebody else was going to pick The Big Lebowski, so I didn't pick it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to confess something here. I saw people saying Saving Private Ryan. I have only seen the movie once, and I got to confess, when I saw it, I didn't like it. And I have a feeling that was not because of the movie, because I know it's got stellar performances in there. I love World War II movies. I think it was a case of me just being in the wrong movie or the wrong mood for that movie at the time that I saw it. And so it's one that I have actually wanted to revisit, because I am certain that the problem was not the movie, it was me. And so I at some point I am going to go back and rewatch it. I just have never had the occasion to do so since. So that's why it wasn't on my list. I knew that it was a 98 movie, but I didn't feel like I could honestly put it on there for me, feeling like I hadn't properly evaluated it the first time. I don't know what the problem was when I watched it. I just remember I was in a bad mood, and I remember for some reason it didn't click with me that night. I am certain that my attitude would be different if I saw it again. So that's why it's not on my list.
Oh, before you jump, so a little factoid: Sphere was supposed to be a Christmas of '97 movie, and it got delayed until February '98. They threw it kind of in the death slot.
Yeah, it did not do well. And again, at the very least, if you're not interested in the movie, if you like science fiction, I beg you, read the book. The book is incredible. Wonderful story.
I'm also seeing City of Angels in the chat. I honestly thought Trish was going to pick that one.
I've never actually seen the movie. I just know the Goo Goo Doll song.
Okay.
City of Angels is hard to get through once you see it more than once. That was the movie that we got after. I think we were waiting for something to come out, and we had City of Angels, and I watched that movie 400 times. I'm like, I can't believe I sat through this entire movie, watched him do this thing, and then she dies in the end. And I'm like, come on.
So I did see Droopy asking, how is Toy Story not on anyone's list? That's because Toy Story 1 came out in 95 and Toy Story 2 came out in 99. So if that is going to end up on somebody's list, it'll be on the next year's list, not this one. Let's see. So people are mentioning Deep Rising as well. Was that the one with Morgan Freeman? No, that's Deep Impact. What was Deep Rising?
I don't remember Deep Rising at all.
All right, I saw that, but it didn't really make an impact on me.
Treat Williams and Famke Janssen. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw this one. So apologies there. I'm not familiar with that one. So anyway, that's it for us for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We had fun doing it with you. Kevin, you got anything to pitch before our next one?
Let's see. What do we got? I wanted to do a recast this at some point in time. I just don't know what movie. So.
Okay. Is that what you're wanting to do for the next one when we get through the 90s, or is that something you were going to do on the House of Apollo?
Oh no, it's up for here. The House of Apollo, I'm going to address the Lanterns debacle. Let's see what else. I did a little He-Man side scroller review, plus give a little history of some He-Man games. And then I'm going to do something about why we don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
Sweet. Sounds good. Trish?
You can usually find me on the M4 cast on Thursdays in the M4 Empire, 8 p.m. Central. And also something with Sir Martin Stowe next to me that I will segue over to him so he can do it.
Yeah, we're two of the Lost Guys with Nolan Thunder and Hangry Table. You can find that on That Park Place, the channel. It's a members exclusive. And then about 4 months later, I'm sorry, not 4 months, about 2 months later, it'll be up on T3PO for the general public.
All right, guys, that's it for us. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you here next Tuesday when we should be covering 1999, unless something changes. Anyway, take care. See you soon.
Lorn and Apollo!